Mr. Speaker, I was profoundly disappointed this week to see that the Liberals' budget contains absolutely no jobs plan. The situation right now is very dire as it relates to unemployment, particularly unemployment for youth. As members know, I think by now, as I've said many times, we are in a situation where youth unemployment is at 14.7%, approaching 15%. Close to 500,000 young people between the ages of 15 and 24 alone are unemployed. We have the worst employment numbers in over 25 years. And yet Budget 2025 has absolutely no jobs plan. Conservatives put forward constructive proposals in the lead up to the release of the budget as part of the Conservative Youth Jobs Plan. We proposed measures to unleash the economy, to fix immigration, to fix training, and to build homes where the jobs are. And instead, what we see from this budget is more of the same bad Liberal policies that got us into this mess in the first place. A budget deficit of over $78 billion, the continuation of policies that constrain the growth of our economy, that deter investment, that fail to unleash our economy, that make it harder for our economy to move forward. A doubling down on failure in so many areas, Mr. Speaker, and a failure to implement the proposals that we put forward that would have created jobs and opportunity. The best that they could do is announce the continuing existence of programs that have been in place since the 1990s. What we hear when discussing unemployment is the government says, well, hey, we've got this strategy, we've got this program. These are programs that have been in place since the 1990s. And the Liberals have no new ideas on this, and they are clearly not delivering the goods. What matters when it comes to unemployment is the results. Not the good intentions of politicians, not the existence of programs or the expenditure on those programs. What matters is the result. What matters is whether young people are working. And tragically, the situation right now that is the result of 10 years of bad Liberal policies is that we have the worst employment numbers in over 25 years. Now, I'll note that frequently their response is, well, okay, look, we've got the Canada Summer Jobs Program. Again, a program that's existed since the 1990s. The Canada Summer Jobs Program provides jobs on average for 8 weeks. 8 weeks. So when you have a crisis of approaching 500,000 young people that are unemployed, and you say, well, we're going to subsidize a few more 8-week jobs, Speaker, that is clearly not a solution that meets the moment, that meets the magnitude of the crisis. And again, we've mapped out a clear plan to get us there. We put forward the Conservative Youth Jobs Plan in hopes that the Liberals would include parts of it in their budget. They would borrow our good ideas around unleashing the economy, fixing immigration, fixing training, and building homes where the jobs are. But Liberals chose not to implement those ideas, not to come up with any new ideas of their own, and instead they put forward a budget with no youth jobs plan, and that simply identifies the continuing existence of a few programs that have been in place since the 1990s. Mr. Speaker, why didn't the Liberals take this opportunity to use our good ideas to confront youth unemployment and put them in the budget?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Immigration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's always a pleasure to engage in debate, particularly against, or I should say with, this member who I've known now for the better part of 10 years. I respect his passion, and I say that sincerely, Mr. Speaker. I know he's a student of many, but Milton Friedman would be counted among that list, and I say that because he said that intention doesn't matter, outcome matters, and that's what Milton Friedman had argued. I go for that, Mr. Speaker. I'm not particularly partial to the arguments of Milton Friedman, although I think he did have some very interesting points to make from time to time. I think Keynes is more interesting, for example. But I digress, Mr. Speaker. I digress. He talks about outcomes being especially important. Okay, that's fine, but ideas matter too. Mr. Speaker, the colleague spent his entire speech talking about the 1990s, talking about the past. We should be focused on the present and the future, Mr. Speaker. In the 1990s, I was in elementary school. I'm not sure the colleague was even born yet, and I say that as a compliment. The point is, Mr. Speaker, if he has ideas to put on the floor of the House of Commons, he should do so. I would be interested, and I say that very sincerely. What I see, though, and this relates to outcomes, of course, is a Conservative Party that, faced with a budget that happens to hold the potential to transform this country for the better, I think the Conservatives are going to oppose it. This is a budget that helps to, among other things, build up the country in infrastructure, build up the country in terms of more home building. We need more non-market housing in particular, Mr. Speaker, and we'll rely on the private sector to get those homes built, but in a way that matches with the needs of the moment. Non-market housing is essential to that, whether it's non-market housing with wraparound supports on site to ensure that those who are on the street are uplifted, those who are on the street dealing with addiction and other challenges relating to alcoholism. There's many examples that we could give here. Wraparound supports are critical in that, and not-for-profits are ready to respond to the challenge, to continue to respond to the challenge. Rent geared to income housing is another example. Regardless of the form it takes, we can rely on those skilled tradespeople, including young people, to help build those homes. The defense sector, Mr. Speaker, I come from southwestern Ontario, as you know, a crucial area when it comes to this country and its defense sector. We have a number of companies that are specifically involved directly with providing military equipment for democracies around the world, including the Canadian government, and this budget holds the potential to unleash building in that area. That's only good for the economy, and young people want to see that too, Mr. Speaker. He talks about EI, he talks about training programs. I have to say this, Mr. Speaker, at every opportunity when the federal government of the past and this government now has put forward measures to help working people, to help deal with the trade issues that we have, the Conservative Party has stood against that, Mr. Speaker. I'll give you an example. We've put forward EI measures to help, in a very targeted way, tariff-impacted sectors and workers. The Conservative Party has either been silent or not supportive where they have spoken up. I have a hard time understanding that, Mr. Speaker, because they champion themselves all of a sudden now as a party of the working class. You scratch the surface, Mr. Speaker, you have a party that's anti-union, anti-worker, and I won't say anti-youth because I know they do care about young people, but they don't have the ideas. Where are those vital ideas to help advance the cause, the needs, the interests of young people? They're not there. Finally, Mr. Speaker, we're talking about young people. We need to talk about young families and the Canada Child Benefit that, since 2015, has helped to uplift no less than 650,000 kids out of poverty. The Conservative Party has not supported it a single time, Mr. Speaker. I don't understand why.
The Honourable Member for Sherwood Park for Saskatchewan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A lot of what the member said really had nothing to do with the question that was asked. I've highlighted our Conservative Youth Jobs Plan, a constructive proposal around unleashing the economy, fixing immigration, fixing training and building homes where the jobs are, and highlighted this budget simply has no jobs plan. We would have liked to see them adopt our plan. But it's interesting that the Parliamentary Secretary for Immigration is here tonight, and we have repeatedly heard at the Human Resources Committee about the link between failed Liberal immigration policies and unemployment. In fact, the budget uses language that almost seems to admit that Liberal immigration policies over the last 10 years have been profoundly ineffective, and really they've undermined the consensus we had on immigration prior to that. So I want to ask the member a simple question about his portfolio. Does he agree that Liberal policies on immigration were a contributing factor to the high levels of youth unemployment we face?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Immigration.
Mr. Speaker, my friend accuses me of not answering the question. His question was all over the place. I'm not sure what exactly he was talking about. I'm very interested, genuinely, in the youth employment plan of the Conservatives. I will look this up, but we don't know about it, Mr. Speaker, or perhaps some of us do. I think I follow things pretty closely. I haven't seen it. As far as the immigration policy of the government goes, he's stuck in the past. He continues to talk about the Trudeau years. This will be a common refrain, I'm afraid, from the Conservatives in the coming weeks, months, and years to keep talking about Justin Trudeau. We're focused on the present and the future. Yesterday's immigration levels plan speaks to that, Mr. Speaker. It is immigration policy that's also economic policy at the same time. 64% of those who will be here in Canada will be here helping build up the economy, Mr. Speaker. That's an increase from 59%. Researchers are going to be coming. Temporary workers, they've made that issue their only issue, Mr. Speaker. That's their big, bold idea, to get rid of a program that sustains, in many ways, businesses in remote communities.
The Honourable